Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
And I'm BrittleKnee.
BK is back for episode 231 of Forever Exiled. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to jump into it.
You know what? I didn't know that was... So we've had you on for forever. And I know, Justin, you have to do your little intro thing. So
no, you do your thing, buddy.
But I've always loved the she kind of... I don't know, just kind of phrase. And you informed me, I've never seen The Wire, but you said that kind of really became popular from The Wire. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that because I've never seen The Wire. So now every single time, even though she is always in my head, no matter what the circumstance is, I always think of you now.
Nah, that's a wonderful thing to be associated and attributed to. Thank you. It's like honestly perfect. So I love it.
Big shout out to our patrons. Thanks so much for everybody who signed up and resubbed up. To Brief Mortal, Regal Jellyfish. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon this week and joining After Dark. It's After Dark's our podcast after the podcast. I'll get this out. Patreon gets you access to After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast, where we just talk about more stuff and things. BK, you going to join us this week for?
I'll be there.
AD, sweet.
Yeah.
So thank you, patrons. We love your faces and appreciate the support. And I see a note here. Prize codes have been sent. Oh, man. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, prize codes have been sent. Thanks for everybody playing the private league and won.
Nope. But you can cut out my little sounds.
I'm going to keep it. Nope. Prize codes are out. So if you haven't gotten it yet, make sure you check your messages within pathofexile.com because that's where we send them out to make sure that we get them to the right persons. How's life, BK? How's things? What's new?
Well, I'm in Colorado now.
Yeah.
Colorado. You're an hour away.
Colorado. Yep, exactly. An hour away. It's a very quick trip from Canada to Colorado.
That's right. You went from 3 hours away to 1 hour away.
Yep. Time.
Yeah.
Travel.
For those listening, we're just talking time difference, but because we don't visit each other, that's basically it. She used to be 3 hours away. Florida. Yeah. Now it's 1 hour away in Colorado. How do you say Colorado? I didn't hear. Colorado. Yeah, that's how I say it. Colorado. So that's right.
How's the mountains?
Our difference is nice because it's like once we wrap up After Dark, I can actually go do a couple of things. But
it's not like 2 a.m.
I got in chat today and Tags is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Because I sound sleepy still. I'm like, I just woke up, man. I'm on your schedule now.
Normally you're just finished lunch.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like usually in the afternoon, get a couple hours of streaming it and then do it. So like my voice is all warmed up, but not this time. Gremlin just rolled out of bed.
How'd the move go?
Oh my God, it was a disaster, but I lived.
Oh no!
Like, what part of the disaster should we go over first? There is that crazy polar vortex in the middle of January that fell right over the weekend I decided to move in. So it was negative 14 degrees with like 5 inches of snow Fahrenheit? When I got here. Yeah.
Hang on. We don't know what that means.
Negative 14 Fahrenheit. Isn't that like
that's dead? Not even a thing. Like as soon as you hit what's freezing? 30? 36?
32.
32. Hold on. She's 32 and you're like minus 14.
Minus 14 Fahrenheit is what in... Sorry, VK. We know this is a big deal for you. I don't even know how to spell Celsius. Oh, there we go. I got it. Oh, negative 25.
Yeah.
Was that with like a wind chill or was that?
No, that was the actual temperature. It was fucking cold.
Holy crap.
And
was there wind?
Because there was a little bit of wind too. Yeah, but not a lot. It was just like this big pocket of cold air pushed down from the Arctic and just sat on top of
to the mountains.
Our state. Yeah, it actually was. I mean, it was really cold, but what sucked was that it was around for like 5 days and I had to bring all my shit inside in that weather. And it was fucking cold and miserable. And my hands, like, I had 2 pairs of gloves and I would rotate like which one I threw in the dryer to keep it warm at all times and to keep drying them out.
You're also coming from like one of the hottest places in the States.
Yes, exactly. It was such a fucking shock to go. It was like literally 90 degrees when I left Florida and then it was negative 13 by the time I got to Colorado. Oh, that was disaster number one. Disaster, yeah. No, it's actually been great. I love living somewhere where there's like actual seasons again. It's snowing right now. I'm excited.
Nice.
But the other disaster was that I did the drive in 2 days. So I did a 10-hour stretch and then a 16-hour stretch. And the dogs were like super concerned the entire time because they've never been like in cars that long ever.
Sure.
And so they're really like rowdy and uncooperative. So when I stopped over in Texas to see my folks, one of my dogs decided that they're like, well, we don't know what's going on, so we're just not going to drink water. And you're like, dude, you have to hydrate. Like, I'm responsible for your life.
I stopped in Texas. It's hot.
And then, so I had this really narrow window. I was getting up at 4:30 to then start driving again on day 2. And I went to bed. I tried to go to bed at 11. Dog woke me up at 2:30 and is like, I'm thirsty now. And guess who couldn't go back to sleep? So I did the 16-hour drive on 2 hours and 2.5 hours of sleep.
Wow.
And shout out to the Forward Expedition that I rented having like driver awareness alerts built into it. Like, beep, 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 because those dings kept me alive. I'm not going to talk about how many times it did or didn't ding.
That's right. It was only once. It was only once.
We're not going to talk about how many times, but like I'd be dead in a ditch on fire if it wasn't for that setting. So shout out to Ford for that one. But then the third and final disaster was the rear heating in the expedition that I rented to get everyone there, including all my plants. I have like a pretty extensive tropical plant collection. It didn't work. And so the entire time I was driving north from Texas all the way to Colorado in the middle of this polar vortex, the back of the car like froze and killed like 60% of my plants.
Oh, dang.
So I rented the car to get them there. And I rented a super big, expensive car. So I'd have lots of room. And they all, like a bunch of them died anyways.
And it only 40% worked.
Yep.
Did your stuff went through like a pod or something? So did that stuff all arrive fine?
Yeah, that stuff all arrived. It was I learned that couch cushions can freeze.
No.
I had no idea.
We live in Canada and we didn't even know that.
Couch cushions can freeze. It was so funny when I was putting my couch back together. I like brought all the cushions in and then I just sat down on it. I was like sitting on like a red Flintstone couch. Like they were hard as rocks. It was fucking hysterical.
Hilarious. It didn't wreck, did it?
No. It's been all good. Yeah. They like thawed out and they're fine now, but like it was still very funny in the moment. I had a big giggle fit over it. Just like, Jesus Christ, it's that cold.
That's hilarious.
I'm learning all sorts of new things.
Right. And you've been in Florida your whole life, right?
Yeah, I've been in snow before. Like my uncle,
but like grew up and lived in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
How are you enjoying the mountains though?
I love it. I can actually see the mountains from my living room. So
nice.
It's really nice to sit on my couch and kind of like, I mean, like I'm looking up over houses, but I can see them.
Sure.
So it's not like this big, like scenographic, like through trees and like, it's nothing crazy, but it's really cool just to see them peeking up over the houses that are across the street from me. It's really nice.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
I don't live in flat Fucksville anymore. There's actually elevation here.
Right, exactly.
I'm not at sea level and susceptible to storm surge. It's great. I don't have to, every single time a hurricane runs through, you don't have to worry about drowning.
I don't think you'll
be getting hurricanes in Colorado.
They might follow me here. You never know. They're wily.
So long time ago, I used to date somebody from Saskatchewan, and I don't expect you to know where that is, but in Canada, that's just like
worst part of Canada.
It's the prairies. It's just Flatville. It's farms. It's fantastic. Well, I love it. I think it's fantastic, but I would always live in BC. I love the mountains. But when she came out to visit me in BC, she actually had a very difficult time being outside because where Justin and I live, we're in a valley, like from Vancouver all the way to almost everywhere we drive in British Columbia, right? It doesn't matter. 4-hour drive in any direction. And we're literally just in a valley. There's mountains on either side and you feel like you can touch them. And she couldn't really be outside. Like she loved the outdoors. She was very outdoorsy, but she could not be outside. She was claustrophobic because she was so used to being in, how did you refer to Florida?
Flatville.
Flatville. That's right. So, it sounds like you're excited about the mountains, but are you feeling any of that kind of claustrophobia?
Not at all. I've wanted to be like around mountains the entire time. Cause like, yeah, it's just so boring. You live somewhere flat. And then like, I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of like deeply rooted genetic component. Cause like where my family is from in Germany is like in the mountains. And so I feel like
You're meant
There's
for
been
it.
this part of me that's been calling me home to live near these things. And yeah, it's been really cool.
Good.
I can't
That's
wait
awesome.
until
Very
things like
smooth.
thaw out a little bit. I've got like all the little, these are the top trails to hike in Boulder. I've got all this shit downloaded on my phone and like, I'm ready for the weather. I'm like, come on, we're just a little bit and we're going to go. We
That's
got
awesome.
some stuff to do.
Dogs liking it?
They are actually surprisingly handling the snow really well. The thing that they don't like is when it does the snow rain bullshit where it's like a little too warm for it to stick, but it's like still coming down as snow.
Humans don't like that
And
either.
They hate it. They hate going outside during it, but during the snow, as long as it's like powder, they're fine. They like crunch right through it and leave little trails everywhere. It's hilarious.
That's fun.
Now, we've always dealt with snow. We've never lived anywhere else except for where we live in Canada. As someone who's lived in Florida, do you have what you need to deal with slush and snow and all that? Like good waterproof boots, a decent jacket? Or did you buy something that, to live in the Northwest Territories accidentally, and now you're like smoking, sweating every time it's
Well, I have
snowing?
the secret tech of layers. So like I don't have a nice winter jacket, but I understand how to layer properly.
Yeah, 30
And
t-shirts,
then-
you got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then I have a pair of duck boots. So like that was just for being outside when it was super rainy in Florida because I
Quack, quack.
hated my feet getting wet. So
Okay.
I've been using those in the snow. They don't have exactly the best traction for walking in powder. I may or may not have fallen on my ass, but my feet didn't get wet. So hey,
That's the best part.
the
That's the
small
best part.
victories in life, right?
Good. Right on. Good for
These
you.
are the things that matter.
Dude, I'm crazy excited for you. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool.
You went out, you did it. Yeah, did your 2-day trek which was extremely ambitious.
Yeah, that's
You
nuts.
went out, you did it. Who cares about the plants? Your dogs lived. Fantastic. Good for you.
The dogs
And
are so good on the trip too, and I had asked the vet for drugs. I was like, "So can we get
Sure.
some drugs for these guys?" And I didn't know how much it affected them because, like, every time that I would stop, because I'd stop like every 4 to 5 hours to let them walk and stretch, and for me to stretch too. And they seemed fine during the walks and everything like that. And then like 2 days later, I had to go do a bunch of like paperwork and stuff. And Evie has pretty bad separation anxiety. So plus the move, new place, separation anxiety. I was like, I'll just give her a half of one. And so I can leave without feeling too guilty and she'll sleep and it'll be fine. And I came home and this dog was fucking snowed. Like just from a quarter of one.
That's
Was
awesome.
just like, I mean, like she was like sleeping face down. I was like, oh, is the dog dead? And I pat her little shoulders and she like gives me this grumble and looks up at me like with one eye open. And I'm like,
You
oh
did
my
this to
God. Like, holy shit, this is powerful. So I couldn't even imagine what they were on half a tablet. It must have been, they're like, holy shit, we're teleporting. Like the
Right?
trip to them was just like being in like 6 different dog parks on the way
Right.
there.
When LSD was legal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's cool. And you're back to streaming now?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Getting back into the schedule. Sorry, you caught me right as I was drinking. I thought it was safe to take a sip of coffee, but
You were. Justin's just bang, 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 bang.
yeah, but
Rocket.
back in the schedule, did some PoE. I actually did pretty good this season in PoE. I didn't bounce off of it as fast as I normally do.
Sure.
So
Even
got
with
like
Last
my
Epoch?
38 out of 40 done. I finally decided to go after all the Uber bosses and killed all of them because my build was finally in a really good place that I felt like I could do it. And been playing some Last Epoch the last couple of days.
Wow. So you
And
did
what about work?
38 out of 40 and Last Epoch. Good for you.
Well, I'm kind of just starting Last Epoch. I deliberately went into the entire experience blind because like I did a race event with them back in 2019. And even that little bit of it that I saw, I'm like, this is going to be fun as shit. I don't want to know anything about this game because like all the other ARPG
Oh, good for you. I love that.
like IPs that I've been around that I've been interested in and have either existed for a while, like Grim Dawn and Torchlight, or been something I've grown up with, like Diablo. And so I've never, and then like by the time I played PoE in 2017, it was already several years old, you know, and this was my first opportunity to play something brand new on launch with no knowledge. That is a genre that I love. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to save this. So I'm going through it for the first time. It's really fun. Made like I'm playing explosive traps. So of course, like I went from playing explosive trap in PoE to explosive trap in Last Epoch, which should surprise approximately no one.
Sure.
But it's been great. I really enjoy it. I think it's really cool. The dialogues are a little bit ridiculous.
Long. You didn't read them, did you?
No. I have been. I love exploring the lore of a new game. That's just one of my things. Like I'll full clear areas and click on all the lore books and all that other kind of stuff. And it's been fun to read them to everyone.
Cool.
But the main thing that I have actually really, really liked about it is like you see the little bits of everyone's personality in it too. Like some of the dialogue options when you are like level 2, right? There's the dragon thing that you have to fight. And everyone's like, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? You meet with the keeper. And then they're like, oh, you must be some cool super savior guy. Go kill a dragon. You're like, I've got this.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got like +2 dex. And you're like, I'm going to save the fucking world.
That is going to be good.
So like the fact that you don't even like have the option to start as like humble hero, but like out of the gate, you're like cocky. I got this, man. You're like, all right, okay, this is ridiculous, but also fun.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
I was going to ask you, work-wise, are you good? Like, did you sort out working once you moved?
Still looking. I've been applying to a whole bunch of places, but hopefully soon. Fingers crossed. I've applied to a few this week that I'm really hopeful for. So we'll see.
Nice.
There's a couple library positions open here locally that like that's what I was doing in Florida. So
yeah,
I'm
totally.
just hoping that's just a nice transition.
That's cool.
Because the library here is actually fucking really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
For a town that's the third of the size of the town that I used to live in, this library is rad.
That's awesome. They like to read there.
Yep.
So I want to get more into PoE and Last Epoch, but Ty, how's your week?
You moved 38 out of 40.
I did move
son
it.
of
Yes.
a fucking shit, bitch. That was perfect segue.
Ooh, see that, Tyler? I'm keeping that in.
No,
see
you're
that, Chris?
not.
Chris,
No,
you
your
heard
mom
it.
listens to this part.
Rage.
That's right. See, Mom, he does swear too. It's not just
I
me.
know. Only when Justin makes me mad do I swear. Anyway, what are we talking about?
How's your week?
Oh, my week? Why do we care about me? My week was fine. My week was, I don't know, like out of nowhere. It's the middle of March. BK, you'll get used to this. This is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to commiserate with you about this. Yes, the fake
Sometimes,
spring.
yeah.
Especially because you're into plants and you're into like, and we're like forcing you to get into grass and all that crap. Like, it's like, sweet. Okay. Like 90% of your plants are going to be all about, oh, okay, so after the last frost, you want to prune this, you want to lay this, you want to do this, and you want to fertilize this. And it's like, no, you will never know when it's the last frost until the drought comes in April or May. You're never going to know. So anyway, we had the fake.
Really fake when it was like, oh, we're here. No, here's snow.
Right. Yeah. Like we went from
brutal.
Like, we're going to 0 degrees at night. You maybe have to scrape your windshield in the morning. Probably not though. And then all of a sudden it's like 10 degrees for a week and a half. We're like, yes, let it begin. And then all of a sudden we get 2 weeks of -5 at night and it's snowing sporadically throughout the day. Yeah. Screw you, March. So anyway,
I was thinking about you, Ty, when that happened with your lawn. I was like,
well, yeah, because so BK, a couple episodes ago, I was saying like, okay, right, sweet, spring's finally here. I felt for the deep fake, right? I don't pay attention to the what is it? It's called Groundhog Day. I was going to say Badgers. It's not Badger Day. It's Groundhog Day.
Badger Day is absolutely Badger Day.
That's right. I don't pay attention to Badger Day, and the Badgers. I don't know what the Badgers did when they came out and if they saw their shadow or not. But I'm like, sweet. We've had a week of like 12-degree weather. It's springtime. So I have a bag of old grass seed and then a bag of new grass seed. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just throw out that bag of old grass seed. Well, unfortunately, inflation is a massive thing in this last 5 years that we've been living in.
Yeah.
And this bag used to be $30. It used to be fine to be apathetic. No, it's $50. It has gone up. Like a crazy, it's like 75%. It's gone up, or 66%, whatever, 0.66666. Anyway, so I go out. So now it's like, okay, it's an old bag of grass seed. It's not really worth committing to, but I don't have $50 every time I feel like there's going to be a 2-week spring of rain here. So anyway, I lay it out and I'm like, sweet, this is going to work. Let's see if it works out. Hopefully I don't need to get any topsoil for my, what do I have? Like 1,200 square. Oh, shoot. meters and feet.
Probably feet, not meters.
Lots of
It's
long.
okay. I understand meters. I'm a swimmer, so
Oh.
I swim 50 and 100 meters. So
Right. The international business.
I understand.
didn't know you swam.
yeah,
Swam.
swam,
Swimmed.
Swam.
swimmed.
Yeah. Swimmed. I didn't know you
Swimmered.
swimmed.
I swimmered. I swimmered
Cool.
real
Do you
good.
still swim it?
No, I stopped in
Is
high
that-
school.
Is that one of those things where you kind of wish you stuck with it, but for good reasons you stopped, but you still really miss it and there's some guilt there, even though there shouldn't be any guilt there?
No, every once in a while, like especially if like there is a couple of public pools and where I used to live, and every once in a while when I'd get the itch, I'd just go swim some laps. It's nice.
Oh, good for you. And you still feel like you're good at the laps? Or is that
Oh
what you
God,
call them?
no.
No, well, no,
I mean,
you're comparing
I still
yourself
have the
to
technique
the...
and I can still
Sure.
do the thing, but I mean, I'm not fast anymore.
No, okay, but you're comparing fast versus able to swim, right?
Actually, it's never fast. I was a distance swimmer. The 500 was my event, or the 1650, depending. Yeah, I was a distance swimmer.
Look at us just talking meters with BK. Hey?
So I don't understand Celsius inherently, but I understand meters inherently. But anyways,
okay.
continue.
So no, anyway, I have a lot of meters, square meters, and so anyway, like the I don't know, the $50 barely covers it covered about half my lawn, and then it started snowing. Lots, and it's just like I didn't throw out $50 because it's old seed. It was probably 2 years old because of all the crap that's happened in like with my house with the flood and all that, which I won't get into. But yeah, I had like $50 worth of seed, even though it was old. So I was hoping to take advantage of it and have it work. And Mother Nature was like, you know what? I have 2 middle fingers, Tyler, just for you. If you didn't lay the seed, it would have been spring, but you laid the seed. So now it's not.
You're the new Badger Day. Did he put down
the
seed?
new Badger Day. So anyway, that was part of my week. Just, I mean, I laid that like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So it's not necessarily this week, but every time I go outside and look at my lawn, I'm like, F you, lawn, right? Mother Nature. This is not.
Come look at mine and you'll feel better about yours.
You know what? I've dropped up some cards though. So hopefully, and anyway, my daughter's birthday is coming up. Her birthday is always one of those awkward birthdays. She's in spring break. BK, I don't know what spring break was like for you when you were in school, but now in elementary school, it's 2
It's usually towards
weeks.
the end of March for us, and it's just a week.
Yeah,
It's
for
2
us,
flipping
this
weeks
specific
now.
week, or for this specific month, it's the last 2 weeks of March. But
It
yes,
leads
it's
right
the
into
last
Easter too.
2 weeks of March. Yes, it does.
It's
But it
ridiculous.
does make things awkward for like birthday planning. Like when you're kids, you want it to be special, you want it to be eventful, and so we're planning. But it's like when you're in grade 5, like you're hit and miss with who the kids are. Like you love them all dearly, the grade 5s, but they're kind of, some of them you just might have some airhead friends.
Wait, you love who dearly? Their friends?
No, just everybody. No, like everybody,
No.
just whatever. Just love the world, right?
Mm-mm.
Got my van, love everybody, peace out.
No.
But
Weirdo.
my daughter has her birthday during spring break, and there's nothing we can do about that. And if her friends
You could have planned better.
don't give their parents, no, we gave them the invitations in February just to
I
be
meant with
sure.
the timing of the birth. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, you know
Come
what?
on, Aaron.
I give my
Could
wife a
push
hard
it out
time. So
faster, or
my daughter
little
was
longer?
born on the 19th. I was born on the 21st, and my wife was born on the 22nd of their respective months. So the only date we're missing for consecutive days is the 20th. And my son was supposed to be born on the 20th, but no, my wife waited until the 21st.
Rude.
I
That
mean,
is
that's
incredibly
about as
rude.
selfish as you get. So anyway, we're not doing too
unbelievable.
well.
Maya has a summer birthday too, and it's the same thing. Like you're
Yeah.
trying to like plan like how do you invite friends and stuff like
Right,
that.
exactly. And so like I asked Violet, so like you gave these invitations a week and a half ago. I've had one response where like, can you ask
Sometimes
your
parents
friends?
suck for that anyway, though.
Oh, definitely. And the amount of split, like when you have a split marriage and you have like 4
Sure.
plus parents, who do you like? We're giving one invitation, and these are parents I've never met. So how do you like? I don't have their phone numbers or anything like that. So it's like this kid has to give one of their parents this invitation. And what if it's the one that just doesn't have the time or doesn't care?
Didn't see
So-
it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. So I had to unfortunately kind of pressure my daughter, like, hey, listen, like if you want kids to be able to show up and they want to, you got to push them like, hey, did your parents get this? Hey,
We do
did
that
you
with
respond?
our kids too.
Yeah, and like I just feel bad pressure. Like she's in grade 5, right? She's 10 or 11
She
or
want her
whatever.
friends to come or not? You want gifts?
That's
Get
Wow.
on those friends.
Let's work.
That's right.
You want shit, you got to do it.
That's right. But no,
It's a
like I
life
just feel
lesson.
bad. Like we gave her a month's notice, all her friends a month's notice, and you kind of feel bad. Like, what if one kid shows up? Like that's just
you
that
don't want
always
that for your
never
kid
child's
to go
hard,
through.
though.
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
like I like roll my eyes in a
You
negative
had
way,
that
but I'm
same
like,
thing last year for her birthday. You were all worried about leading up to her birthday,
yes,
whether or not kids would show up.
that's
so.
right. But like then there's some people that rent out an entire facility for like twice the price and they invite the entire class. Now I get it. Like I roll my eyes at the cost of that and I'm like, man, these people are rolling in it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, who cares? Like they're guaranteed to get 10 kids for their kid's birthday and that kid's not going to feel left out. And now my kid invites 5 people. One kid responds and I'm like, oh, this is going to be heartbreaking. Okay,
Oh,
I
those are
wish
the
I had
best.
the extra $250. Like it's just, and so anyway, we were dealing with that and having a good time figuring that out. And it's like, hey, have you given your mom the invite yet?
You're
No,
like
I think it's
nicely-
still in my desk. I'm like, get the damn invite to your parents, kid. What, do you think you're going to come by freaking air balloon? So anyway,
No.
so
That's fun.
anyway, I didn't yell at any kids, but
It's coming
yeah, that's right.
this week.
And I guess, I don't know, the only other thing with me is ever since we had our whole yards dug up and then replaced so that the house wouldn't flood anymore, our lawn's been really bumpy. And I know that's so first world problem, but it's been bothering me. Like when the kids play on it, they're tripping all the time. Both. It's just, it's very lumpy. Like we're talking like 12-inch differences between different divots and stuff
Sure.
like that. And so I really just have a hard time spending $1,000
Is it
on
actually
leveling the
12
lawn.
inches? That's
In
pretty
some places,
substantial.
That's
like
pretty
not everywhere.
egregious.
Oh, it is. And in some places it definitely is, but that's not everywhere. It's not like 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, but it's still enough where it's like my kid wants to play soccer or my daughter wants to jump off of a tree and she has to jump in a very specific spot
Sure.
or he, so it's like I'm having a tough time like with the 4-digit number of flattening the lawn and all that kind of
Why
stuff.
do you just
But it's
flatten
like,
sections at a time? Like you don't have to necessarily do the whole lawn in one
that's
shot.
a really good point. That's a really good point. So I've been looking at a lot of different places around town that I normally wouldn't look at just for dirt in a way like that. But honestly, for some reason, it never crossed my mind to do it incrementally. It only crossed my mind to do it all at once. So that's a really good idea.
It's obviously nicer to do it all at once, but it's also a lot of work and more money. And you can also, depending on what your topsoil is like right now, you can use sand. You don't have to use all dirt, which can be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Cool. Anyway, thanks for asking. That's me. And Justin, your turn.
my week was good, man. Work's awesome. Like work's so
Whoa,
good right
hang
now.
on.
I know.
Rewind.
I know, right?
Go ahead.
I know it's
Positive
different.
things to say about work.
Work has been really good. We're in a really good spot right now, and things are going well. And just noting Tyler's cough there.
Do you have anything to say to any ex-employees?
When actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
That's a big action.
There
big
might have been
middle
something that
action.
happened in the camera or
Yeah, I
not.
may have
Go ahead.
done something for the camera there. No, you know what?
Kiss.
People do what they do. People can. I'm not going to swear because sometimes Sophia listens and she'll tell me off. But yeah,
Right.
work is good. It's a really good environment where a lot of good things are happening right now. So work has been. It's really busy, like insanely busy, but it's good. And March has turned bananas for us. Like we're taking off this weekend, we're gone next weekend, and then we're gone for a week. We get to go to the island to go see Ethan, so that's going to be fun to go.
Cool.
Our kids are pumped to go see him. They haven't seen him in a while, so we're
Do
going
you
to
know what
go
we
to the
mean?
island.
Whenever we say the island, BK, do you know what we mean?
It's Vancouver Island. It's in BC on the west coast. There's a strip of land. It's called Vancouver Island, and there's like Victoria and Nanaimo
Oh, okay,
and
then I've been there.
Tofino.
I didn't
Mhm.
realize it was
Yeah,
an
it's
island.
a massive island, but that's where, not like we
Yeah.
care, but that's where the capital of our province is. And it's a huge, massive island.
Yeah, I love it over there. I was actually born over there. That's where I would live if I
It's
didn't
really
have
Born on
work.
the
pretty.
island?
hmm
Victoria?
Yeah, all my family's from Victoria.
Huh.
So yeah,
What are you like? You're like a species where it's like when it's time to breed, they all go to Victoria.
I don't know. Well, most of my family didn't move off the island. They all live.
Okay.
Like I think my parents.
They voted him off.
Yeah, my parents. We left when I was like 2. So, but yeah, no, I love the island, and Ethan's over there now, so we're gonna go visit him. So that's gonna be fun. I had a weird week this week because I have a funeral to go to between episodes. So like after we finish recording, I'm taking off to a funeral, and then we'll have After Dark tonight. I haven't been to a funeral in years. Like,
really?
No, I haven't.
They're like annual events for me.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. And so this is a really close family friend. She's been kind of like a sister growing up, and her mom passed away. So we're going to the funeral. But this week I was helping her out with the video, like they do like a little, she wanted to do
yeah.
So,
celebration of life thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Talk about crying for like a week straight. Those videos are the best and worst. Also, Justin's friend, we love you very much.
Yeah, she's awesome. But she asked if I could help her figure out some software for it. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be painful if I'm trying to explain to her how to do it. So I said, look, why don't I just do it for you? Tell me what you want.
Pictures. Yeah,
give me the pictures. And then at one point she's like, so I have digital pictures on my phone that I can send to you. And then I've got some physical photos. I'm going to take pictures of them with my phone. And I'm like, no, just you're not. That's bring them to my house. We'll scan them. So she
we'll make it
brought them
good.
to the house. Christina scanned like 50 pictures. And then I started putting them into the video, and she picked 2 songs. She had 2 really great songs. One of them I'd never even heard before. It's by Ed Sheeran. It's like Sunflower or something. I can't remember, but man, songs have a weird effect. Like if I had heard that song just normally, I'd be like, oh, that's a great song. And then when you hear it in the context of it's being used for like a memory of a life or whatever, I was laughing at Christina. I was like, this stupid song. I don't tend to get choked up, but I was like, oh, can't finish this stupid.
Good for you, Justin. Is that the first time you've ever cried?
I didn't cry, but I have cried. I
he
don't have
had
any problem
moments.
crying.
He just had moments with a capital M.
I do cry, Ty. Come on now. But I definitely had, like, it gets you choked up. And then also, like, it was weird. It was a weird thing for me because she, like I said, she's been like a sister growing up. This is her mom. We knew her mom really well. My kids knew her mom. Mm-hmm. And then you're editing this, but then you're also thinking about like your own family, and I'm thinking about my parents, and then I'm thinking about myself and my kids, and one day my kids are gonna have to be doing this for, like, there's so many things that just start like flooding in as I'm trying to get this thing edited. So it was a weird and then I had her come over because I can't remember why she had to drop off the actual photos, and so I needed to make sure that songs were correct. That I got the right song she wanted. And then so I'm playing one of the songs in particular because there's different versions of it. And then she's getting choked up, and I'm like, hey, get out of my house. Like, I
can't work under these conditions.
Yeah, I've never cried before. I can't start now.
Yeah. So it was weird. It's weird to like, I've had funerals, but I've never had somebody, like I'm lucky to have both my parents still. I've lost grandparents for sure. But like, it was just a weird sort of mental space to get yourself through as you're prepping for it. So we're going to go to that this afternoon. And then we're taking off this weekend. And then March is like busy, man. It's going to be.
It is.
Yeah.
Talking to Justin about different possibilities and scheduling with the podcast and different things we want to do. He's like, well,
Ty's like, what Sunday do you have free? I'm like,
None.
Yeah, that's right. Let's just ask for April instead. Yep. Okay. And there's even one week this week where we're recording quite a few days in advance. So it'll be a good time.
But life's good. Life's good overall. It's spring break's coming up pretty soon, and I'm excited to go see Ethan. So
yeah.
Totally. What do we got this week in PoE?
Absolutely nothing.
Awesome.
So, like GGG, I think it was funny. I forget which post it was this year, but they mentioned something about how they post every day, or on average, it's once a day, business days wise. They had 2 posts this week, so I'm expecting a whole bunch of posts next week. And they weren't even posts. It was, here's a summary of season 13 of Build of the Week. And we also have a stash tab sale, which happens once every 3 weeks, if I remember correctly. That was it. That was this week in PoE.
There's not much going on.
So, BK, you're going to get, like, Justin and I love Dumb and Dumber, but now that you live in Colorado, You're gonna get way more Dumb and Dumber quotes from us. My apologies if that's extremely annoying for people that live in Colorado. But as I like to say, anytime somebody lies, that John Denver's full of shit.
I mean, I guess if
you've seen Dumb and Dumber, right?
I haven't watched it in a good many years, but I've seen it.
Well, I'm going to find out what streaming service it's on, and I'm going to see if there's a party watch.
Party. Dumb and Dumber watch
I know
party.
Disney Plus does it well. I don't know who
I'll
else
make
does
a drink.
it well.
When you say it, when they say an average a day, I mean, you could, if they post multiple times through the day when it's in a busy time of the league. I mean, really, what are they supposed to post?
Oh, I'm not really giving them a hard time for this week. I'm giving them a hard time for their previous post. We post once a week.
Because what do we?
Nobody cares how often they post.
Is it March or is it April that's expected for the next league? Is it end of March or is it into April?
I mean, we're getting into some LA talk here if you want to get into that. But
what is it? Like it's a private event. Why?
What's a private event?
Apparently, whatever this thing is that's happening in LA that streamers have been tweeting and twittering about is not a public PoE event. I don't get why or what it is.
I don't know if it's like a PAX West thing or like if the event itself is. I don't know. GGG said nothing about what's going on, but we have seen many different content creators being given permission to say that they're being paid by GGG to fly to LA to talk to GGG about whatever it is.
Are they being paid to go?
Yeah. Everybody.
Some of them are having their expenses covered. Yep.
Yeah. And
but why? What is it? I have
no idea. I'm not cool enough to be in that loop anymore.
It's such an interesting. Maybe it's just a unique marketing strategy by GGG, but. GGG has said nothing, at least. Huh? But they've given permission for streamers to say that they're being paid to go to, or sorry, not being paid like salary wise, but their expenses are being paid to go to LA and then converse with GGG, but they're not allowed to say anything about it. And that's coming up in the next week or two. And so people have been, let me do a clicky click here. People have been expecting the league to launch like on the 29th or something like that.
Of what, March?
Yeah. Just there's people doing their own little math, their own date math.
Yeah, but they're still doing their normal like Twitch reveal thing for the new league.
So, but
I thought they said they were.
So.
To me, it's really weird for the league to have gone on this long, and there have been this much silence about 324, and then give permission to other people to say this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Now, weird doesn't mean it's not smart or wise or anything like that, but it is an interesting marketing perspective. Like, people are now talking about 324 like crazy, and you have only non-GG employees. What?
There's no way it's for 324 because I've seen people talking about the fact that they're going to be playing PoE 2.
Sure, but I mean, just because we don't want PoE 2 and 324 hype to be combined. I mean, GGG is going to do it. They did that for 323. They did.
Well, they've already said they're going to do it for 324.
Right. And so even though we don't think that, like, that's not how we would do it if we were in their position, that's probably what's going to happen this time around. So, they have 324 coming out. But remember, 324 is coming out, and where are we? March?
It says late March on their announcement.
Right. And so we're talking April, May, June. There's your 3 months. If they can actually adhere to a 3-month league this time around. You have 3 months, and then June hits, and the Path of Exile 2 website says June 7th, I think it was, for the beta, Path of Exile 2 beta. So this is like, for anybody that's going to bother with the beta, this is the last Path of Exile 1 league they're ever going to play, unless they decide to play both. So, things are going to be different, things are a little bit wonky, but it's kind of interesting to hear the hype from an unusual source this time around. So BK, 38 out of 40.
No, I just it's one of those things where I'll just I'm excited, especially if it's like PoE 2 stuff, because I am on the hype train for PoE 2. Especially after playing some Last Epoch, I realized that I am a slower ARPG enjoyer. And so I'm looking forward to learning more about the combat, learning more about the systems, all that kind of stuff. And, but as far as being like, what does it mean? I'm just like, I don't know. I'll find out in a week and a half. I'll find out then.
Yeah.
So I look forward to it, though. Hopefully it's some juicy stuff.
Me too. I mean, GGG was, in retrospect, it seems like they were ambitious for what they were hoping to do. Remember, they were kind of coming out with trailers for the different types of classes, I guess you could say, like stereotypes of classes.
Yeah, that's
obviously.
what I hope we see. I hope all the people that are going are going to be playing some of it, because I really want to watch people play it.
Yeah, and I assume it's going to be new classes as well. Now, GGG's in that awkward spot where Path of Exile 1 players love this is the class I'm going to be, this is the ascendancy I'm going to be, but I can do anything I want with that. And GGG, because of how their marketing has gone, they've had to emphasize to existing players, like, no, that the Path of Exile 2 is going to be that. It's just our promo videos are focusing on things like just the thematic aspect of it. But yes, don't worry, you'll be able to play anything and whatever you want. So what have they done? They've done like mercenary, they've done the staff person, or what was it? The changer, whatever, the templar version of, like changing into a bear or wolf or whatever. But then they were emphasizing that summoning is coming, and that was supposed to come in the new year, but now it's March. So whatever complications they've had with minions, I'm very excited for this to come forward. I mean, even if they, like, I'm totally fine if minions ended up being a little bit more than they expected and no minion stuff comes out. As a minion player, I'll be disappointed, but like nothing against the company. It's just I'm excited to see that. But I am excited to see they were talking with an expectation of having videos come out a lot more frequently, and minions were supposed to be next. And they said, yeah, sure, early in the new year. And now we're getting to the end of Q1. So whatever it is they have, that they've like made their decisions on, and they don't really have a lot of time to change it. So whatever class it is that they're showing the unofficial archetype of, I'm quite excited.
I hope the AI is better. I don't really have too many complaints about minions in PoE 1 aside from the AI just being dumb. It's
Tyler loves the zombie AI.
And hard to control, and hopefully there's more mechanics worked into being able to like favorably position and or direct your minions to attack things and whatnot. SRS got better over time with the mouse over, and then like what is it? Whatever the predator support that makes you able to tell them to go to a certain place. Yeah. Like that's all been good. But yeah.
Did you notice
it's been
that
a long
in Last Epoch it's just like
there.
Built into it? Just hit one button and that targets.
Yeah, that's how it's handled in D3 as well. I haven't played minion stuff on D4 to know. But it's really comfy. I'm playing Falconer, so I just have the one little guy. And it's been nice.
I saw Kronk, one of our listeners, playing Falconer as well. That was interesting. I was asking generic questions about that. That's cool. I don't know. It's interesting. Like when you talk about the competitors that Path of Exile has, none of them, I mean, as Justin was saying last week, it's good to have very different styles of play within the ARPG world, right?
Absolutely.
So you're playing, yeah. But Path of Exile, in comparison to both D3, D4, and what's the other one that everybody's playing right now? Last Epoch. Path of Exile is just substantially more complicated, just in general, and just how the base of the game works. So
the game is over 10 years old and it's had all the time to create development for having a proper end game.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but I really like the aspect of I need to, like with Predator support that gives you signal prey. I love the prospect that gives the same amount of damage that minion damage gives, but minion damage, of course, gives 25% life to all of your minions, or sorry, the linked minions. Whereas signal prey doesn't give you a bonus to the damage. It gives you a small amount of clear damage, right? But then it gives you the same amount of damage that typically minion damage would give, but only to the one. And then there's the complication of, can they reach that specific individual, and how hard are they trying to get there? And I like having that choice in my theory crafting of, am I going to focus on making sure that I can deal the damage to one specific character that I want to, or am I going to have more damage, but it's going to be spread out and I don't have control over that? And I love that complexity about Path of Exile. And there's part of me that really, like, I love that they're simplifying Path of Exile too, and to help people just understand it from a day-to-day basis and a generic gameplay basis. But I really hope that complexity, which it sounds like they want to keep as well, I just really hope that complexity or that very difficult choice still exists. LA will tell us, I hope.
I feel like the beta is probably going to be more of an answer than anything else when you actually get in there. I don't feel like I learn a ton watching other people play, just because it's not always the style you want to play or the way you want to play. But the beta will be fun once it's actually out. Like Last Epoch, I played 2 characters. I ended up stopping after the second character. It is very fun, but I like BK says PoE, and people have said this to me too in comments and on Discord and stuff. PoE just has had such a long time of developing endgame content, and then that's definitely where Last Epoch lacks. Once you get to the end, there's not a ton to do.
Sure.
But the simplicity of it, while still maintaining some complexities to like how things work, is really, I think it's really well done in Last Epoch. It feels that there's a good progression of understanding your character, the crafting. The crafting took me a little bit to fully understand, but it is definitely not Path of Exile levels of complexity.
I've really, really appreciated the fact that I've been able to go into it completely blind and figure stuff out. Like read the little help journal thing and start working on a filter, read the little help journal thing, start working on crafting, like mouse over the skills, have all the tooltip information there, be able to learn more about different mechanics, go back to the thing. Like if I see recently, okay, what is recently in PoE or in Last Epoch? 4 seconds. Okay, cool. Like I like the ability to, by like staying in the game, find the answers that I'm looking for. Like it's really refreshing to have everything at my fingertips and to be able to play a game like that blind. And I've really appreciated like how forgiving all the talent systems and stuff are, as far as like, you know, like, yeah, I like this skill, but now this other one unlocked and I want to see what that's about. And then you just swap it in and like put your points into it and stuff like that. And that is really refreshing as well. Like it's such a breath of fresh air not to feel like panicked because like maybe I clicked the wrong talent button and I don't know if I'm going to have enough regrets to undo this later. Or like I was on autopilot and filled out an entire mastery and fuck, I don't need that one. That's not this build. And so it's just really, really nice. And I've enjoyed the kind of like super low key approach to it. And hopefully they get the end game stuff figured out. But I, for one, it's been really nice to be able to play it blind. Like with Path of Exile, like you've got to have like all your tools with you and all your stuff. And
you have to have a pretty good understanding going in.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Last Epoch, I think did a really good job of how they balance the whole respecking skills. Like you're going to take a hit. It's going to be a little bit slow, but then there's this accelerated experience to try and catch up. And the way they did it makes you feel better about making a change.
Yep.
And testing stuff out. Besides the actual, what is it, mastery or whatever, besides switching that fully, being your only real permanent decision, you still get to work with the other ones. Like, I don't know. It was fun. I did have a good time doing it.
I told Justin last week, BK, that I'm, despite the fact that, I don't know if you remember, like both Exile cons mashed into one Exile con for me because I was just watching online both times. I didn't have any other experience with it, but if I remember correctly, the 2019 Exile Con, there was kind of a hope that they would release Path of Exile 2 before Diablo 4 because that was still a very ambiguous release date. And Last Epoch, of course, was in a forever beta at the time as well. And so there was the goal of being the first. And I was telling Justin last week that I'm really glad that didn't work out because now D4 is out, Last Epoch is out, and the Path of Exile 2 development team has shown that they're very open to changing everything and anything. And so it's been very cool to hear people like yourself and Justin that have played Last Epoch and the things that they like about it and know that the development team of Path of Exile 2 is hearing these opinions from everybody else and considering them. And it just gives me a lot more hope. Like I've always been very excited for Path of Exile 2, but I've also been very, what's the word? It starts with an R.
Reserved?
Sure. Yeah. Reserved is a good one. Yeah. Reserved. Good R word.
I'll
give you high points. I'll give you points on Scrabble for that one. That one's a good one. I'll give you triple score. But I've always been very reserved about Path of Exile as well because of the things that drive me nuts about Path of Exile and then the mentality going forward as well. So, it's awesome to hear people talk about these things and the things they like because it gives me hope that they might not be addressed in the exact way that other games are doing it, but that those are things that are being considered with the big decisions that Path of Exile or GGG makes for Path of Exile 2. So I'm quite excited. Beta is going to be the best. Like whether it's loaded with glitches or poor design choices, it's irrelevant. Just the fact they're open to changing stuff and people can just like type and throw it. Like I'm just so excited for beta. I can't wait for June. I'm going to type that in. What day is June? June what?
I think there was absolutely no shot it was going to go out before D4, just because of like they're building something from scratch, whereas like Blizzard with their direction of D4 decided it was going to be like this open world kind of like static map MMO sort of deal. And my super tinfoil hat theory about why D4's development was so quick was they already had the failed Overwatch MMO bones and they just built on that.
I remember you saying something like
because
that
like
before.
it's
That's
got
right.
like the whole action wheel and all that other kind of stuff, and that's a feature in Overwatch and all this other kind of shit. But like, I don't know. I feel like they felt pressured to get it out ahead of all the PoE 2 stuff, just because they know PoE 2 is just gonna fucking blow everything out of the water. It's gonna be a genre-defining ARPG moment. Whether it's so like too. Ships perfectly or not is irrelevant.
It is. I hope GGG doesn't have that attitude, but yes, I completely agree. It's been really exciting though to hear Jonathan. Like it's been a bit now since he's had one of his interviews with a streamer, but he emphasized that he wanted Path of Exile 2's beta to be one of the biggest RPGs that's ever existed, but also the best quality. Like he just wants it. Like his idea of AAA, from what he described, is what my idea of AAA is, not what GGG's previous hope. You know, when releasing content for Path of Exile 1, like they want to be AAA. His idea is that they want to release like legit AAA quality and size.
Yeah, if they ship something completely polished, it'll be era defining, really, because it's all this early access and then like just get something out and we'll fix it in patches sort of mentality to the studio, like the game space, and it's not even just an ARPG thing; it's everywhere.
Yeah. And if they can actually get the beta to come out with, obviously not glitch free. Nobody's ever going to talk glitch free, but just to be a really solid release for the beta, then you have an extremely positive marketing tool going forward, because then you're looking at more just like minor tweaks. Like fixes are always going to happen, but if you can release a solid beta that isn't just like, you know how Chris in the past has talked about like, yeah, well, we actually reached alpha this time for launch. That kind of stuff like really irks people when you're actually really committing to a game. And so if you, with your beta, come out with a really nice quality one, sure, it has its glitches, but like the solid foundation is there and it's not crashing all the time. People can play with each other. You're doing the trade system, and all you have to do is tweaks and minor fixes along with the minor crash bug. I think it's nothing but good marketing for them. I really wish them the best.
Did you guys play this week?
Which game?
PoE first?
Nope. I got on and did some boss carries for like the first time in 2 years. It used to be kind of my thing, and then I kind of fell off PoE. But it was kind of cool to get back in it and have a character powerful enough to be like, yeah, man, I got you. Log on. Let's go kill some shit.
Cool.
That was cool.
And you do that through your community, or who do you carry?
Yeah. Someone was trying to work on their challenges and needed a third watchstone. And so I was like, well, let's just go kill both Maven and Uber Elder and get them both for you.
How'd you find the 3840 this league?
It was really easy this time. It was really approachable. I thought anyways. And I really I was motivated to do it no matter the difficulty, because I thought the prizes were actually really cool this time. Like the actual rewards for it. It's like purple health, and like the armor looks good. Mm-hmm. And the last two times, like it was like some primalist looking thing and then like some gladiator looking thing before that. And I just like I'm not really interested in those archetypes. And like, I don't, I wouldn't wear this stuff anyways. And so like when I kind of had my, all right, I think I'm done with the league moment, I just didn't care what the number next to my account name was. But this time I'm like, yo, that's actually really sick. I want that. And so I was going to go for it no matter what, but it didn't take me nearly as long as I thought it was. I ended up skipping Ultimatum and the one that has you do all the altars, because I did destructive play through Maven for almost all of my league because I really like destructive play. So
that's cool. And now that's at 38, the purple bar?
Yep. 40 of 40 is just bragging rights. You get all of the rewards by 38.
Why do you think they do that?
Well, you get the totem. Like there's in hideout decoration. then unless you do 40 of 40, you won't have like the cool giant eagle on top.
Sure.
So.
But I don't know. That sounds like everybody that I overhear talking or see talking, Reddit, Discord, wherever, it's just, they just care about the monetary reward, the 38 out of 40.
I know a lot of people that take that totem pretty seriously.
I had a huge streak of doing 40 out of 40 every single league for the longest time, but then life happened. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I get back to it. We'll see. But for me, it was the totems. Like, it was cool to have them all lined up.
Yep. The purple health thing looked really cool, but I was not going to get 38. I got 12-ish. Whatever I ended with. I just get whatever I get. I don't go looking for them.
That's right. You need that extra challenge. It's like, you need to use an alteration. Nope. Not going out of my way.
A lot of times they are those super simple ones. Yeah,
that's right. Have you gone into the delve? Check. No, not going to bother. Too many clicks. Yeah.
Did you play it all time?
That's cool. Glad. Yeah, I played. I've been really enjoying my Reaper Necromancer, and I'm playing around with the concept of a few trees, but not sure how to. I need gameplay to figure out which one's which. Like, obviously, my survivability is more important than anything else because then I live. But then, you know, like with my default minion tree, I have lots of armor and increased max elemental resists, and then I just use damage mitigation for the rest.
Yeah, super comfy.
Yeah, and I mean, I have basic block chance, right? Like with the Necro, I'm doing block chance, and then bone armor, and then Tempest Shield. And so I'm like hovering around 40 to 50 on each, which is fine for block chance. But, you know, obviously 75 is nice, but I don't like inconsistent mitigation. I like consistent mitigation, which of course it doesn't actually make sense with the majority of defenses in Path of Exile, right? Like armor isn't about consistency because of how it works, and neither is block chance or evasion. But either way, I like the more consistent. I like, you know, the dips in my health bar to be because
something you expect. Yeah.
Right. Yes. And so I have a hard time investing in block chance, but obviously it has a massive impact in survivability. So, you know, I tried doing a Reaper build with the Necro where I had the default where it was just, like I said, armor and then increased elemental resist. Another one where it had a little bit less armor, but instead of the increased elemental max resist, it went on block chance instead. I'd be at 77% spell, but only about 55% attack. But anyway, playing around with that, obviously those increased numbers are beneficial, but it would be less armor, less life. But, you know, so trying around with that. And then there was also the tree that I was trying where it was both the investment in block chance and in armor and increased maximum elemental resist, but then there would be no minion survivability investment. And obviously that's optimal if the minions could survive. But I'm doing a Reaper build with Summon Phantasms, and I really want it to work. And I've done, for me, I mean, for everybody else, it's like no maps, but for me, it's like a ton of time invested into playing with all that investment into me and only offensive investment into my Reaper and Summon Phantasms, and they just can't stay alive enough. The Reaper's fine, actually. The Reaper's fine. It's just the Summon Phantasms that aren't staying alive, and that's a great design. That's not a criticism to the game. It's just they're always going to do more damage than any other support if you have all 10 Summon Phantasms up, but not 4. And it's just so frustrating because I really, really want it to work, but it's not. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to come up with a balance.
Were you actually playing, or was this more just
no, it was actually playing. And so I'm alking and going. I mean, there's a few mods that I don't do, but I'm alking and going the Maven invitations and the other whatever T16 maps I have, which aren't many, and just taking them through different scenarios, trying to see which situations wipe out the Summon Phantasms. And I'm not happy that I'm, for the most part, running around with, like, I'll see 10 Summon Phantasms often enough, but it doesn't stay at 10 Phantasms, and it's really driving me nuts. Like, quite often I'm like hovering around the 3 or 4 mark, and I don't know. To me, it's just not good enough. It's like playing with a Reaper that's on a 5 link instead of a 6 link. And that's really frustrating. So I really want this current setup to work where I don't have to care about minion survivability. But I know in my heart that I have to, in my heart of hearts, I know that I have to choose between either the block chance investment or the default investment that I had with increased elemental resists.
So that's it.
That's what my week was.
Soon.
Yeah, me too.
Phantasms they're tissue paper or they're good, and it's annoying.
Yeah, totally. But the frustrating thing is June 7th, because I double checked while we were talking, June 7th is the Path of Exile 2 beta. And
cool.
Whether I've already spent enough or whether depending on what, like if I'm playing the Path of Exile 2 beta, that's my game. I don't have time for 2 games.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, now not like posting build wise, but for me wise, like March 22nd, Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out.
Yes.
Yes.
So, right. So now I have April and May.
Are you playing BK?
I have
Did
to,
you play the first one?
signed up to play this little crab Souls-like that I've been really excited about. And they're going to actually send me a key. So I'll probably play that for a few days and then play Dragon's Dogma too.
Nice.
Did you play the first Dragon's Dogma?
I did.
So good.
Justin and I abused that game substantially.
I almost started it back up this week.
I
Whoa.
know that's the same thing for me. I'm like, I got to go get that like hit of nostalgia and serotonin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like it's in the same world. So like maybe, some games do like, hey, you previously played this, or Dragon's Dogma used to have some minor versions of imported saves and stuff like that. So wouldn't it be cool if something to do with your Arisen or your Pawn had some sort of reference to
I hope
Path of
not.
Exile 2?
With Path of Exile 2?
Or sorry, Dragon's Dogma 2.
I was like, damn,
The
they're going
crossover
like,
you never expected.
That's right.
I'm in.
Capcom, GGG. But yeah, but for me personally, like this is possibly my last Path of Exile 1 league. I have 2 months to play Dragon's Dogma 2, which to me, Dragon's Dogma 1, I hated the story, but Dragon's Dogma 1 was like the best designed game I've ever played. Just with how everything coincided, whether it was storytelling and game progression and just the whole, everything from fast travel, everything. It was just such a well-designed game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to get my attention for 2 months, but I'm very excited about Path of Exile 2. So I'm hoping to be able to like really dominate Dragon's Dogma 2 for the 2 months I have before the beta comes out, and then I'll be Path of Exile 2. So to me, like I'm going through this play style. I'm going through all these tough choices, and I'm like staying up at night, like, well, what should I do with my tree? Well, what should I do with my skills? And at the end of the day, like
won't matter.
March 22nd, I'm not even playing.
No,
like
June
when
7th.
I think about it, even though Path of Exile 2 is a long ways away, if I'm part of the beta, this is it. I'm like a couple weeks away from not playing Path of Exile 1 again.
Oh,
so,
you mean after Dragon's Dogma 2?
Right. March 22nd comes out on Dragon's Dogma 2. Then after Dragon's Dogma 2, the only reason I'm stopping is the Path of Exile 2 beta, as long as it's affordable or I've already made it. And then once the beta comes out, like I'm keen, like as much as we've had criticisms that we've been quite negative about Path of Exile 2, which maybe we've just come across wrong because we're very excited about. But well, both of us are very excited about. We're just hesitant, right? Because Path of Exile 1, we've always wanted it to be a game we could recommend. But at the end of the day, it's a crappy game that we've fallen in love with. It does a lot of amazing things right, and it's been very neglectful of some very basic things. And
my primary negativity has just been to the fact that I don't want to hear about it because it's too many maybe ifs, ands, we should, could, who knows, maybe that might come. That's what I'm like, just let us play the beta.
But we have a Path of Exile 2 podcast. Obviously, we're excited for Path of Exile 2.
It's not Path of Exile 2.
Right. So it's going to be a Path of Exile 2 podcast. But anyway, the point is that like I'm stressing about, stressing in my free time about something that I know isn't important. That's what my week's been. And then every now and then I remind myself, and it puts me to sleep instantly. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got like 3 weeks and then I'm done. Boop. And I'm snoring. So that's been my week. Thank you for asking, Justin.
When you were talking about that hidden nostalgia, BK, let me tell you, this week I was trying to figure out what to play.
That it came out in 2012, so I'm having like a moment.
Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. Like,
Is that really when it came out?
Floor.
Yeah, it's been 12 years, man.
Damn.
Gotta go lay on the floor and think about things, but continue.
Well, I can't wait for Dragon's Dogma 2. But this week I was done with Last Epoch. Last Epoch was really fun. I had my thing, but I think the one thing that kind of turned me off with Last Epoch was how you progress the monoliths. And there's instances where it just makes more sense to just rush through something to whatever you're supposed to do as you progress further on the monolith. And for some reason I just didn't like it, but I was trying to figure out like, well, what do I want to play? And I was going to maybe re-download Dragon's Dogma, play that. But as I was looking through the library of Steam, I came across, well, no, sorry, I shouldn't say the library. I do sometimes look through my library, but I get lost. So I looked through the store and I saw this game that was on sale.
The store is smaller than his library.
Called Secrets of Grindia. I'm not really sure, but it looked very much like Chrono Trigger, Secrets of Mana.
Yeah. It's been in development for a very long time.
Very long time. And apparently it just recently came out with their like full release. I hadn't heard anything about it, but I saw it. It was on sale and I'm like, oh man, it reminds me of like the Chrono Trigger style game. And I love that game. So I played that game and it was so flipping good. I really it got very hard towards the end, but it was so good. I beat it. And then after I beat it, I was like, I got to do Chrono Trigger again. So right now I'm in the middle of going through a Chrono Trigger playthrough again.
Greatest game of all time.
Yes, man. The music in that game and the sound effects and like, it is
top tier experience. Even all these really years later,
even now I'm having so much fun playing it. So that's what I did this week. I played through Secrets of Grindia and it's actually a really well done game. Apparently it's multiplayer too. Like you can actually play it with up to 4 people.
I was thinking about picking it up. A couple of people were talking about it this week and it's like one of those things like I remember getting hyped about it and then like forgetting about it for like fucking a really long time. And people are like, oh, it's out. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
7-8 years ago. Like it was a long time ago because I was looking up some stuff about it and I'm like seeing Reddit posts from 7-8 years ago, but it was really, really well done. But yeah, it got me back into Chrono Trigger. So I'm
always a sucker for an RPG like that.
They're just so well done. And it makes me feel it really made me enjoy being on my computer and playing games, which I haven't felt that in a really long time.
Right.
Even with Last Epoch?
No, Last Epoch was good. It was fun, but this was maybe it's the nostalgia side of it. I'm not really sure, but it was just that type of game and the way you explore and now I'm back into Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is just super nostalgic for me. Like that just makes me feel not 40 anymore. Like I feel like a kid just like enjoying the game.
Understandable why that would be appreciated.
Yeah. So that's what I played this week and it was so good. And apparently I was reading this morning that the guy who made Chrono Trigger and I guess he did like Dragon Ball Z and a bunch of other
that's right.
What is it called? Magma passed away, which is too bad, but man, he made
even in our community,
shit.
the Path of Exile community, there are people sorry I couldn't show you out because I didn't save the post, but I saw a Reddit post on somebody that made kind of like a hideout, but a memorial for the individual. Cool. I'm sorry. I really wish I could shout you out, person, because that's really nice with all the Reddit stuff that's been going on. It would have been really nice to show you out. So my apologies, but yeah, it was really cool. And
so anyway, that's what I did this week. That was my gameplay and it was freaking awesome.
Dragon Ball Z is what got me into drawing. It was funny because like as I was moving, I was going through a bunch of my old stuff and like kind of like I can't take all this shit with me. So like let me go through like the box of my old schoolwork and the box of my old artwork and stuff like that, have a little nostalgia trip and then like recycle it. And so it's really cool to go through all this stuff. But what I found is like some of my earliest drawings and like what you can refer to things as like OCs, like original characters, people like you design. Like I found this like little notebook of old season. They're all in Dragon Ball style. Like they're all drawn like that and everything. It was really cool to see them, but they're in the trash now.
I never saw Dragon Ball Z.
It was on Toonami on Cartoon Network, and I used to like rush home from the bus stop to try and catch like whatever I could because I'd always get home so late.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a huge era. It's got me into drawing a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I drew a lot of anime style and manga style stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was curious. So you played Last Epoch. I know you talked a little bit about it. What was your overall thought? Like, did you get to monoliths or where were you at in that one?
No, I'm like in chapter 5 or 6 or something like that. Cause like I'm doing like the full clear, read everything Andy run. Like
Yep.
Full clearing every single area, reading every single dialogue, talking to all the people in town that have little like the triple dots
That's a
above
lot
their
of
head.
reading.
I like
20
it.
million,
Like
that's a lot.
one of the things that I enjoy about new IPs is I love world building. It's one of the main things that I loved about D&D back in the day when I used to like sit at and DM at tables.
Mm-hmm.
And I love world building. I love like the lore. I love learning it all about a different place. So it's like one of the like the combat's cool. Like it's an ARPG. Like I know I'm gonna like that part of it. Like kill many monster, good. But it's kind of cool to see what people do creatively about the world. Because it's like one thing to make a really pretty environment, but like how does that environment tell me the story of this time? And so yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it, but progress is slow. But yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And I look forward to seeing, like, I've heard a lot of things from people like that, you know, like no spoilers and stuff, but like, they're like, yeah, it'll be good in like 2 to 3 years when they got the end game figured out. And there's like a really polished system behind it. And I think it's great to have an opportunity to play something in between like PoE seasons and
Sure.
everything. Like you got to scratch that itch one way or another.
Wait. You're not
So
going
I
to
think
play
there's-
Path of Exile 2, then Path of Exile 1, then Path of Exile 2, then Path of Exile 1, then Path of Exile 2, then Path of Exile 1?
I think my days in PoE 1 are numbered.
Yep.
Like
same
if
for us.
anything that, especially with their commitment to kind of keeping things the way they are, because they were gonna, you know, they're hitting the brakes, trying to slow stuff down, and now they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna go hard. And like the super juicing MF, like big playstyle, fast zoom stuff is kind of like, I guess I'm just an old boomer now.
Welcome
And I want
to
to
the club.
just, I just want that hack and slash back into my ARPG experiences. And I get that with Last Epoch, and I know I'm going to get that in PoE too.
Mhm.
And that doesn't really exist in PoE 1 anymore. Like when I
Act
play, it's not, I get these comments every once in a while and people come by the stream and they're like, man, it's really nice watching you play. It reminds me that I can go at any spade that I want to and still have fun. And I'm like, thanks,
a lot.
man. Thanks. Like I know I'm a washed up streamer at this point in time, and like there's no real reason aside from the community aspect of my stream to hang out anymore. But like it's like, yeah, I realize that I'm sort of divesting from PoE 1. Like it's not the game for me anymore. And I'm looking forward to PoE 2 being that game for me.
Yeah,
Totally.
Hey, you're talking to the right people here.
Because like all the stuff
look
that I've
at
had
how I
fun
play.
in with Last Epoch has been stuff that's in PoE 2. Like running into, because I'm full clearing every zone, you kind of run into these optional little mini bosses. And like I've loved all the extra little mechanics and how those turn into little fights. And there's those like mages that are frozen in the little things. And I'm like, oh, I got to break every single one of those out. I'm going to fight them. And like that has been an immense joy, like taking the time to fight these little bosses and all this other kind of stuff where everything else is like clear. How fast did you do that map? And it's like, I don't know. I like Last Epoch in that regard.
Yep. I
So
agree.
some PoE 2 and some Last Epoch changing seasons here and there. That sounds pretty fun to me. Maybe a little bit of D3 on the side, or D4, sorry, on the side. They just recently released the
Did you say
ladder
D3?
system. I meant D4, sorry.
No,
They
no
just
problem.
recently the ladder system that they're going to do, and I was really big in laddering in D2 or D3, sorry. And
You don't know what D's going on now.
listen, I've played all 4 of them a lot.
Good for you. Good.
Still
But-
playing D4?
I do here and there. One of my mods and good friends plays a fair bit of it, and so every league I at least do the battle pass and like kind of hang out with him.
Mhm.
And it's been fun to kind of like, I play a different class every time. So like rather than do everything at once, I'm
Sure.
kind of like piecemealing the experiences together. I'm playing Rogue this time around, and it's been pretty fun. But I'm waiting to see how this ladder thing figures out, because if it ever flips into a meta of running a support and a DPS together for these ladder things, like goodbye life.
Is that a thing in Diablo?
It's like, it was in D3. You could do, when you laddered on 2s, it was always a support and then a DPS together. And
Does it
I
make
lost
you
so many
always
fucking
maintain the
hours of my
same
life.
2 people for it to count onto the ladder? Like, do you always have to have the same duo, or
no, it's just like individual times. Like, so if you like, you could be a support person and then like play with one DPS character and then like play with the other and still be on the ladder for both times. But I don't really know how it all works. So I was kind of letting Zay figure it out. And he's in the top 20 for Rogue right now, solo ladder, which is really cool. But yeah, hopefully there's some sort of, because if it ends up just being like 2 DPS run together and like blow stuff up, that's not really interesting to me. I've always enjoyed playing support characters. Like I play tanks and healers and all that other kind of stuff in MMOs. Not really a damage dealer. And I played support barb for 9 seasons in D3 and laddered competitively. And I just like, that's what I miss. So hopefully no other game scratches that itch. Like playing support in Path of Exile is like, I have many auras and I'll pick shit up for you. And like, I have no interest in that. Like there was so much like, not necessarily skill, but like in D3, you had to be able to read the tiles. You needed to be able to gather mobs. You need to be able to keep your cooldowns up and all this other kind of stuff. So it was like much more interactive than like, I have many auras.
A buddy and I tried this league just because it was such a crazy league in PoE with Affliction, trying to do like a 2 group, you know, MF support and DP. Oh, it was, I hated it. Both of us, we didn't last more than a week, if that. It just was not an enjoyable way to play. I know there's a lot of people who love it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I like much more active support roles rather than just like passive follow around click shit stuff. And yeah, I'm hoping one of the games at some point will scratch that itch because I love playing support characters and I haven't found it again outside of D3. Like that was kind of a thing that it had that I haven't been able to find in any other MMO or ARPG.
You're gonna have to find some free time because you've got D4 you're talking about, your Last Epoch.
Well, I mean, I don't
PoE
play it
2
seriously.
coming, Dragon's
like
Dogma 2 coming.
D4 stuff is like a couple of hours, like every few weekends when like Zay's got the time. And then, you know, Last Epoch is kind of like what I'm streaming right now. And since I look at streaming like a job, then I play it during those hours, right? Because I don't want to like progress the story offline if people have enjoyed watching me play it blind from, you know, level 1. So I've got all of the free time. I cleared in Final Fantasy 14. I cleared the raid tier finally.
Oh, so yeah, you still play Final Fantasy 14 too.
So I've got all the time in the world for Dragon's Dogma.
I cannot wait.
Just keep in mind, there's a game called Age of Empires 4 that is also very cool.
Tyler's been trying to learn how to build maps.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a computer for it. I can't generate it. Like, so I set it up and I have everything exactly the way I want it. But it's like my computer doesn't have the generating power to actually make the map. So it's like trees are missing and this, but how my computer generates the map is what the map is. It's not like it knows what the map's supposed to be.
Right.
If my computer can't generate it, I can't post it.
No.
Online. We can't use it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've been having a very fun time learning a whole bunch of stuff that my computer can't handle. Upgrade.
I did a lot of that in Age of Empires 1 and original StarCraft. I fucking loved making maps.
Yep. I will make a map that will work for all of us. And it's going to be glorious.
He's been working on it. I saw it last night.
I already got it. I know it.
Did you?
I know exactly what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter how many players there are. It's going to be perfect. I know exactly what I want to do.
It's just
the
the
stupid generator doesn't know what it's doing.
Yes, you do.
Because somebody was like,
just a little
Merry Christmas, play the fucking game.
That's right. I was actually last night, Ty, I was doing some work. It was like 11:30 and all of a sudden my Steam popped up with you playing Age of Empires Builder or something.
Yeah, the build creator beta.
Yeah. Good man.
Piece of garbage, can't generate enough trees for an 8-player map.
Imagine not having trees.
You need trees.
24, man.
Well, I want the trees to be the barrier, the impassable barriers, so people can like use their villagers to cut through the trees, and then you can access the people. You know, like instead of a wall.
We've played a few maps that are like that. Josh is awful because he'll purposefully go straight through towards the enemy, and then you're kind of hooped. But
yeah, anyway, it's going to be great. I just need to spend $1,500 on a new computer so that I can make a map for Age of Empires 4.
Some trees.
Yeah, priorities first. Forget that lawn that's going to break my kids' ankles. I need to make that map. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, BK. I'm glad you're enjoying all of those games, though. And Justin and I have the assumption, just based on how it's listed on the Microsoft Store and Xbox, that the pawn system won't be cross-platform. So
it's all right. I'll share pawns with BK because we'll be on PC.
You and Justin have to share pawns together, and then Yeah, you won't be able to use
No,
my
Tyler.
pawns are always the best. So I am sorry that you won't be able to use my pawns. But
It's too bad it wasn't cross-platform compatible, but no go.
c'est la vie. But you're good for the seat. We're 1 hour difference, BK. This is crazy. What are you going to do for After
Right?
Dark?
I don't know. I guess be drunk for longer.
Yes. You're
Instead
good
of
to join us
sleeping.
tonight then?
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
I got
Right on.
we're going to lock and load another Pisco or two. It's like
Yes.
the
Right
drink
on.
for After Dark now.
Well, then we will see you at 10 p.m. your time. Or is it 9:30 p.m. your time? I'll be good for 8:30.
Yeah,
You guys?
8:30.
9:30 for you,
9:30.
BK?
Yep.
Right on. Hey,
I
do
will
you
already be
I don't know,
drinking.
do you spring ahead this weekend for time?
We do, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know
But
which
that's
states
Sunday. I
do
don't
or
think we have to
don't.
worry about it. Yeah, it's so dumb.
Sure.
I can't wait till they abolish that bullshit.
So we're we voted provincially like 5 years ago to approve the government to get rid of jumping ahead and jumping back in time, but we haven't. I think we're still waiting on Alberta and Washington.
Nah, it's
but-
not. That's not even totally true though, because go about 13 hours north, where my sister lives, and whatever it's called, they don't. They're in
Wherever
BC.
it's called.
They don't do time saving. They
Oh,
don't
right.
change.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's in like Timbuktu.
It's still BC. It's just weird.
It's true. It's big
How do you-
provinces. Big
You can't, like,
provinces.
it's so weird to have it. Part of the province is like, nah. It reminds me of Alberta, like that area. I mean, it's close enough where they're just like, nah, we don't want to. We'll do whatever we want.
We love you, Albertans, but we also love making fun of the stereotype.
Yeah, you're just
I
a weird
mean,
group.
every country has its Texas, right?
That's
So-
true. They are our Texas.
Yeehaw. So anyway, it looks like we'll always be only an hour apart. That's good enough for a hug one day, I think. But anyway,
Yep.
yeah,
getting
see you
closer.
tonight
I
at
mean, I've
9:30.
been wanting to get back up to BC ever since I went there as a kid. I went there when I was in I think early high school. Fell in love with that whole area. I love the Pacific Northwest. So pretty.
Well, we're not
Agreed.
on the island. I know we talked a lot about the island. We're not on the island. So if
That's
you
fine.
accidentally go to the island, it's still the same thing as being in Colorado because it's a long ways away in a ferry ride. And it's like,
Just less mountains.
Anyway, see you
Yeah.
tonight.
Is that so?
See
We're good.
you tonight. I think we're done.
Ty, you wrapped it up. All right, sweet. Oh, I do want to throw this one thing out that Tyler put in here. Can you quickly do your little gate?
Right. Last week I was talking about, you and I were talking about that map device that has the timer on it. That was part of the mystery box. Now it's part of the generic store, so anybody can buy it.
Oh, cool.
In the past, GGG has been iffy about what features of an MTX get carried over into the guild or not. So Justin and I bought the what's it called? The map
Timekeeper
device, the timekeeper map device for the guild on PC, and then Justin and I did a whole bunch of testing. I think we covered everything. We talked about it in After Dark last week, but it wasn't an intention to like gate. Justin and I never gate specific
So
subjects.
we were going to tell you the
After
answer
Dark.
now, but you're going to have to listen to After Dark.
That's right. Yeah, no, we
Subscribe
never
on Patreon.
That's
we
right.
never have an
Goodbye.
intent to gate any specific subjects in After Dark, but we did end up discussing it in After Dark. So just so that people that aren't part of After Dark know, the map device, it seems like every feature is available for the guild version of the map device. So Justin and I tested everything, but basically at the end of the day, the most restrictive aspect was still available to Justin. I'm the guild leader. I bought the map device. I put it in the guild hideout, and then I left. I signed out. I did everything. And Justin, who is somebody in the guild, could go to the guild hideout, put a map in, and the map device and the timer work.
Timer,
for him.
everything works.
That's really cool.
It wasn't, it was awesome that the timer wasn't restricted to me being a party leader. It wasn't restricted to it just being simply my map device. There's a lot of other things where it's like, oh man, I really wanted this to work for the guild, but it doesn't. And so I was very happy with that. Congratulations, GGG, on doing that properly. I hope all the other MTX come out that have those cool features are applicable to guilds. But that was really cool. So anybody that's thinking about buying it for their own individual guild, you can do so worry-free. I think Justin and I tested everything that needed to be tested. So anyway, thanks, Justin, for bringing that up. I forgot about that.
Thanks for hanging out with us, BK.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always fun.
It is always fun. Every episode that ends in a 1. We'll see you in After Dark then. Let's wrap this up. Forever Exiled 231. I'm Justin AK Tags.
Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
And I'm BrittleKnee.
Thank you again for hanging out with us. Patrons will catch you in After Dark. Everybody else will see you next week in 232. If you're looking for more information for BK, you can find down below, as well as our information. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. Pop in there and say hi. And Patreon's other ways to support the podcast. You'll find them down below, as well as on said website. Goodbye.
Goodbye.